Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to merge your classes and set up your online gradebook in Tyler 360, better known as TIMS, for this academic year. We're going to start off by locating the link that will take you directly to the Tyler platform. From the Putnam County High School website, hover over Faculty and Staff tab, and then hover over Faculty Links. When the Faculty Links dialog box populates to the right, come over and actually click on TIMS. A new screen will appear. Once the screen comes up, you want to put your information in, your username and your password. Once you have your username and password, click on 360 Login. Give it a second to come up, and once this comes up, this is going to show you all the classes that you are currently teaching. As you see here, this is semester 1, so these should be all the classes that you're currently teaching. If you'll notice, some classes, for example, my first and second block, are broken up into two separate sections. One of the sections include the inclusion students, and one section includes the other students. What we need to do is we need to merge these sections. We need to merge these sections for attendance and gradebook purposes so that all of the students are all on one roll. So we're going to start off doing that by coming down and clicking on the Merge Sections, which is in the bottom left corner. When you click on Merge Section, it's going to give you two hyperlinks, the attendance hyperlink and the gradebook hyperlink. It's important to know that you will need to merge sections for both attendance and gradebook purposes. So we're going to click on attendance. A new box will appear. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and check both of my second block. The reason why I'm not checking my first block is because I have already merged those for attendance purposes. Where it has primary section, I'm going to select one of these. It really does not matter as far as which one you select. But just in case, I am going to select the one that does not have the asterisk. If you notice here, this one has the asterisk beside it. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. Come over to the right and click Save. And make certain that everything's and all the information is correct. Otherwise, it's going to give you an error. And if you notice here, I did not name it. So I'm going to name this Second Block U.S. History. So when I name this Second Block U.S. History, I'm going to come back down. I'm going to click Save again. Okay? And that merged the class. To make certain that it has merged, what you want to do is come up here and click on Merge for Attendance. And if you notice, I have a first block that's merged, and I have a second block that is merged now as well. When you go to take attendance, what you want to do, you can do this in two different ways. You can actually come over. You can come over to the seating charts if you are so inclined. If you have seating charts built, you can take attendance through that. Otherwise, what you need to do is come up and click on the menu and then click on attendance from here. Obviously, because today is Sunday, it's not giving me it's not going to allow me to do anything, but it is showing me the classes here that I can take attendance for. So we're not going to do anything with that today, so I'm going to click Cancel. So what we want to do is we want to come back and we want to go back to the unmerged status. We want to merge our gradebooks now. So come back over here to the bottom left. Again, click Merge Sections, and now we're going to merge our gradebook. And again, it's going to ask you for the same name. It's best to use the same name. It's best to use the same name that you've already previously used for attendance purposes. So for attendance purposes, I said Second Block, and I said U.S. History. So I type that in there. And again, you want to make certain that you select both of those, and then select the primary section. Once you have selected both of those, come over and click Save. Should an error occur on your screen, like the one that popped up just a moment ago, make certain that it's a true error and not just some dialog box popping up. To do that, come up here to the drop-down menu and choose Merge for Attendance or Merge for Grading. Make certain that everything looks good, and from my standpoint here, it does. Everything is A-OK. So sometimes those dialog boxes will pop up. Sometimes they are a true error, and sometimes they are not. All right, so everything is set. Everything is good to go here as far as Merge for Grading. But this is only part of the situation. What we have to do now is we actually have to go into our courses, and we need to create our categories so that the system knows how to grade. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our actual gradebook. We're going to come over to the far right, click the arrow, and go into the gradebook. If you notice here, this lists all of my students as well as student numbers, but you can see here there are no grades, there's nothing here. So you want to click on categories. Now, with the categories, this is going to tell the computer how to grade it. So, for example, in the social studies, our tests are 40%. Our projects are 30%. Our quizzes are 20%, and our daily work is 10%. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those categories here. So a new box, I went to the far left-hand corner, I clicked Add Category, and a new box is going to appear. So I'm going to do the one that is weighted the most first. So I'm going to do 40%. Okay, so you're going to type in 40. And one of the neat things too is instead of going through all of your classes, if you come over here to the right and you click on All, once you set these categories, I'm going to set them all except for my advisement because there are no real grades in advisement. If you click All, then these categories will be populated in the other classes as well. So I'm going to select Test. I'm going to type in Test. I'm going to type in 40. And it will also allow you to choose a color. When you're looking at your gradebook, you want it to be, at least for me, I know I want something that will kind of stand out to let me know what are tests, what are quizzes. So I'm going to choose a color. So I'm going to choose maybe one of the yellows. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one, and it's going to populate the code up here. And so when you log in, once you get it set, you put in assignments, that will populate on the screen. The possible points, I'm going to type in 100 because we are on a 100 scale. So possible points, this is for a category. This is not for an assignment where you may have, for example, 20 out of 20 or 35 out of 50 or whatever the case may be. This is possible points. So I'm going to click Save. And if you notice, as soon as I click Save, of course, it's going to give us the color yellow. But again, this is only 40. Realizing we're based on a 100 scale, we want to come back to the far left. We're going to click on Add Another Category. And in this situation, we're going to say Projects. And projects are worth 30% in the social studies, and we're going to choose another color. For projects, I think I'm going to do green. And again, this is totally up to you. It's your discretion on what color, if any. You do not have to use colors. You're not required to do that. Possible points, 100. Okay, and again, we checked here for all of them except for advisement, and we're going to click Save. Okay. Once these categories, I've got to add 2 more here to make it. Once these categories come up here, all right. So the next one, quizzes. With the quizzes, we are at 20%, and again, same thing here. I'm going to choose a color, select all, and uncheck the advisement group, 100, and then we're going to click Save. Okay. All right, and so that is going to bring us up to our last category, which is going to be daily work. Okay, and again, these categories are going to be different for each department. Okay, so whatever your categories are, some departments may only have 2 categories, some may have more. So whatever the case is, this is where you will set your categories. So for daily category, I'm just going to check something fun, maybe a blue color, and I'm going to click off. Uncheck the advisement, make this 100 points, and click Save. So we now have our category set for all of our classes. So what's next? We need to go and actually add assignments. So we're going to add an assignment here. I'm going to come down to the very bottom and just click Add Assignments. When I click Add Assignments, it's going to give me a new screen, and it's going to say Quick Add Assignment. From the drop-down menu, select which of these categories you want to house that assignment in. So for example, in my class we do a lot of daily journals. So I'm going to click on the daily category. So one journal I know for a fact that we did was journal number 2, which they were provided with a rubric, and that is how I scored them. But journal number 2 is the name of this, and I'm going to say civilization. They had to write about a civilization. Get my spelling correct there. All right, so I'm simply going to call this daily number 1. It may seem a little confusing since it's journal number 2, but daily number 1, because this is my first daily grade. This was actually completed on the 6th, and they had to turn it in on the 6th. Okay, so the date assigned and the date due may vary. It may vary for some people in some courses and some classes. All fields, if you want to see everything that's there. So this is where, for example, if you're setting this up for another class, you would need to check all fields. So my U.S. History class, second block, also did the same assignment. So I'm going ahead and going to check over here on the right, U.S. History, second block, and I'm going to come down and click Save. Now, before I click Save, I do want to go over this. If you have an attachment, so for example, the rubric that I have, I do not have that here with me at home, but the rubric that I have, if I want to attach that for this assignment, this is where I would attach that. The standards, some of the standards are not up to speed yet with Tyler. We will let you all know when the standards, if and when they need to be checked for assignments. But for now, just leave those blank until we consult with the administration on that. All right, so coming back to assignment, come over here and click Save. And if you notice here on the screen, if I go back to score, so there we go. I've got the daily category, the short name for it, and this is my assignment. So what I want to do is come back over to scores, and it's going to show me. I may have to change that blue color, and if so, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put a grade in. So I'm going to go ahead and type here, okay, and I'm going to click Save. And there you go. You have just created your categories. You have just created your actual first assignment. And if the colors are not working for you, if you need a lighter color to see, or if you do not need any color, one of the things you can do is you can click and you can say Edit Assignment. And you can actually, well, I went to the wrong thing here. I'm sorry. So let's come back up here and click. And what we want to do is edit categories. Okay. So come over here, click Categories, Actions, Edit, and we can change that color. So maybe another green or something like that, or whatever the case may be for you. So go ahead and select that, And as soon as you do, if you come back over here to scores, you're going to see the new change there. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, by all means, please shoot me an email. I'm in room 120. You're welcome to come find me and ask me anything pertaining to gradebooks and the like, and I will try my best to help you. Again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.